Welcome back to the Fantasy Football Channel. It's August. Drafts are rolling. We're back, and we are talking the tightest of ends today. Top 15 tight ends. Kyle, how you doing?
I am doing well. I am doing my squats over here at training fantasy football training camp, getting in my deadlifts, all of the things that I need to do. Getting ready for Las Vegas. That's all I can think about since we talked about it on the last show. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. You're talking some posterior chain work over there for tight end day. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yep. Oh yeah, everything over there. What about
Good.
you?
Good deal. We're doing swell, man. We are doing swell, drinking the rain, hanging out. Here we go. At number 15, we got Dalton Kincaid out of Buffalo. The dude only had about 39 catches last year, played in about 12 games. The Buffalo Bills spread the ball around so well. I'm never too high on any one of their weapons, but he is definitely their best tight end, and he is definitely used in the red zone quite a bit. Josh Allen looks his way to score some touchdowns. What you got?
Yeah, you said how many games he played in last year, and he still scored 5 touchdowns. And he's really just like an offensive weapon for them, right?
Mhm.
He didn't get he's not heavily used. They still have Knox there, but and he has that PCL tear, so he's opting not to have surgery for the second year. So a little bit of concern there, obviously on the upside. But he's one of the just like the best pass catching tight ends in the NFL, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. At number 14, we got to talk about the G Men. The Giants have revamped their entire offense, their entire team, and they included in that Isaiah Likely. I love what the Giants are doing, and I love me some Isaiah Likely. I think this has one of the sneakiest upside value plays in all of the tight ends because he could easily be top 5, top 10, depending on how Jackson Dart uses him. And so far in preseason, he's thrown the ball quite a bit. We know Isaiah Likely was always overshadowed by Mark Andrews in Baltimore. That's no longer a thing. He will be the guy, and I think Jackson Dart will feed him quite a bit.
Right. This guy is one of the more upside tight end candidates toward where he's being drafted. Absolutely. We have him at 14, and he does have a little bit of a tougher schedule. They brought in John Harbaugh, like we all talked about. And for fantasy, it should be good. They still have Theo Johnson, who Jackson Dart targeted a lot last year. So I think there is a lot of upside potential here. It's one of those things where you got to either have the faith or I want to see a little bit more of it come together first.
I have some faith in
And
him.
maybe there is a league where that is an option where you can do that. Or if you're taking a flyer, this is about as good as it gets for a late round tight end flyer.
Absolutely. At number 13, and no one's talking about this, but with no more A.J. Brown in Philadelphia, Dallas Goedert could be a sneaky play as well. And he was a touchdown machine last year. When Brock Bowers went down, I plug and played him, and he had a touchdown almost every week until I dropped him, and then you picked him up, and he did absolutely nothing.
He was a touchdown machine on your team. On my team, he stunk it up.
Yes, he's a boomer bust.
We had a league. I picked him up. I'm like, all right. I was struggling with the tight end position, and he locked and loaded in my lineup. I'm like, I'm committing to this guy regardless. I'm going to handle the humps and bumps of this ride. 3 straight weeks of like 2 or less points. So then I dumped him. Good thing I picked up Fannin, though. Fannin saved that tight end position season for me. Yeah, Goddard, again, you lose A.J. Brown. You vacate a lot of targets, a lot of offense there. Hurts certainly is comfortable with him and Devontae Smith throwing the ball. Shaky wide receiver 2s and 3s right now in this offense is kind of how we're looking at it.
Yeah.
So again, this is a big value tight end here.
Absolutely. And at number 12, we have George Kittle. And this is one of those weird situations where you could easily see him, if he goes around the 10 to 12 tight end spot, you could easily see at the midway or end of the year where you're like, how the hell did he go so late? He could easily finish as a top 3, top 5 tight end. Our concern is he's 32 years old. He's coming off an Achilles injury. I don't think he's playing week 1. I think they're going to give him 2 to 4 weeks before he's out there due to his age and due to how serious that injury is. But again, this is someone where after that 2 to 4 week mark, he can get back out there and he can get 8, 10 catches a game and 50 to 100 yards and touchdown every game. He absolutely is capable of that.
Yeah, this is like a gameplay, gamesmanship, how you want to play it.
Ooh,
if he gets kind of left for dead, you could pick up a tight end that could help you win a championship, when he comes back. But be prepared week 1 for him not to be there. And I do think sleeper value at the beginning of the season, if he doesn't play, is Tunges. Tunges in some leagues is a guy that when he's in there in this offense can produce. We know they lost Ricky Pearsall, so the receiving room isn't as good as they would hoped it would be. They did sign Debo, but Kittle is a kind of a gamesmanship move for your drafts.
Yeah, absolutely. At number 11, going on with the old trusties and Mark Andrews. As we said, no more Isaiah Likely to take away some targets and some share. We already know I don't love the Baltimore wide receiver room outside of Zay Flowers. Mark Andrews is going to put up some points. He's going to get some touchdowns. I think last year, the first half of the season, he started really shaky and then kind of improved from there. But you can always old trusty in Mark Andrews.
Yeah, he's an old trusty value tight end, and he's a one season removed from an 11 touchdown season in 2024. And we don't know exactly what things are going to look like, but I think the absence of Isaiah Likely certainly is a strong case for him in his receiving work. He is not the youngest guy in the book, and he's battled a few drops here and there, but he's always been one of Lamar's safest targets. So I think he's got a respectable floor here and a little bit upside with this offense and at this price.
Absolutely. Sam Laporta at number 10. Last year, he only played 9 games. He missed the last 8 games of the season with a herniated disc. In those 9 games, 40 catches, 489 yards, and only 3 touchdowns. Not really what you want to see, but I will add, his rookie season, he was tight end 1 with 86 catches, 889 yards, and 10 touchdowns. So this guy can do it. He's only 25 years old. I feel like he's kind of being lost in the sauce a little bit, but this Detroit Lions offense will chuck and move the ball and put up a lot of touchdowns, so you can get yourself some Sam Laporta.
Yeah, I think this is the right price. We are slightly lower than ESPN on him, and I think a lot of that is we like Amon-Ra, we like JMO, and we like Gibbs. That's going to be a lot of the receiving work. So, I can't get too bullish on every single player on this team, even though they do have one of the easiest schedules. But I'm just a little more excited about all those guys. And, this is still another value tight end.
Yep. Are we doing Jake Ferguson dirty at number 9 when he finished his 5 last year and he's one of Dak's favorite targets and used in the red zone quite a bit? Do you think we're doing him dirty?
ESPN's currently got him at 12. So, no, I don't think we're doing him dirty. I think we're doing him a bit of a service.
Some justice.
Yes, he started out on fire last year. He was like a top 2 tight end, I think, for a better part of the first half of the season.
Yeah.
And then kind of faded away a little bit. Sure, CeeDee Lamb was injured and missed some time, and that probably helped his targets. But it's a pass-heavy offense. They are getting better at running the ball. But I still think the trio of Ferguson, CD, and Georgie B can all eat. We don't know exactly where it's going to fall week to week is probably the best way to put it. But at 9, I think he's still tight end 1.
Justice for Jake out of Wisconsin. Come on now.
Yeah. He's a PPR guy too. So you give him a boost in PPR.
Yeah. At number 8, one of the best tight ends to ever play the game, a future Hall of Famer, and probably the Chiefs' most consistent weapon that doesn't like to drive his car very fast. We are talking Travis Kelce. Finished as tight end 3 last year, 193 points. The Chiefs have the 12th easiest schedule. I mean, everyone knows Travis Kelce. What can you say about him? He's amazing. He can catch the ball. The one thing that does remind me, when they had that Super Bowl and he gave up a little bit, that does echo in my brain. It doesn't matter for fantasy, but it does echo in my brain when he gave up in that Super Bowl when they got their butts kicked.
I mean, I'm just thinking about his wedding, getting married to T Swift. Where do you think they honeymooned?
Where didn't they honeymoon?
What would you get him? If you went to his wedding, what would you get him as a gift?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Absolutely nothing. A butt
slap. Not even like a Swift album? CD?
Get him an autographed first Taylor Swift album. There you go.
Yeah, something
what
like
would you
that.
get him? What would you get that man?
I'd probably get him, I like the CD idea or some Swifty memorabilia. Maybe a T-shirt, a Swifty T-shirt. That's
Maybe
what you should get him.
Costco knife set, something like that.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, Kelce, what do you say about that guy? He's, a legend in the tight end room for sure. And despite some of their struggles as a team the last couple of years, last year he still finished as tight end 3 in PPR. The guy's got a phenomenal floor in PPR. Yes, he's old, but like him and Henry, I mean, you still kind of got to bet on them in redraft as long as they're still out there playing the game, 100%. I think at this price, you're pricing in a little bit of age fall off probably is what's priced in. I mean, he proven last year he can be top 5.
Absolutely. At number 7, who is this guy? Harold Fannin Jr., and where did he come from? This dude came out of the woodworks last year to finish as tight end 6. He is probably the best weapon in this offense, and he had 72 catches, 730 yards, and 6 touchdowns with one of the worst quarterback plays we've ever seen. This guy is a stud. He is making the most of nothing, and we like us some Haro Fannin Jr. out there.
Yeah, he came out of Bowling Green, and this guy had a phenomenal last season in college. And this was a team where Njoku was the starting tight end, and someone I had in a league last year who basically disappeared. And Harold Fannin just stole the show, completely continued to outperform him. And he's a really great receiving tight end. They used him in a lot of like screenplays last year. You know, we have a little bit of turnover and questionable at the quarterback again. That's why we have him at 7, because we don't trust anybody in that offense throwing him the ball. But usually a bad quarterback, your tight end is the best and safest thing for you. They did draft a couple of receivers really high in the draft. So it's kind of crowded for who's going to get targets. But it's hard to get any lower on this guy who just came in last year and did nothing but produce.
Yeah, absolutely. At number 6, we got Colston Loveland. I want to remind everyone, Cole Kmet is still there, but Colston Loveland played in 16 games last year, finished as tight end 12, 165 points. The Bears do have a tough schedule this year, but here's what impressed me most with Colston Loveland. Yards per catch, 12. For a tight end, that's really, really, really good, but he only had 58 catches. He had 6 touchdowns, which is also nice. What you take on some Colston Loveland?
Yeah, this is a Ben Johnson effect player. Obviously, Ben Johnson, when he was in Detroit with Sam Laporta, that's when Sam Laporta had his best time. And this is someone that he was part of drafting in Loveland. And Loveland is a great pass-catching tight end. And, you know, toward the end of last year more so, I think we saw how he can be used in this offense. You lose their number 1 receiver, and you currently have Luther Burden dealing with a groin injury. I think this guy is going to get a lot of targets this year, more work. He's very talented. The head coach knows how to use him. So that's, I mean, ESPN's even higher on him. Maybe we have the Packers-Bears effect, why we're a little lower on him than consensus, but still a great pick here in this range. You know, we have Pitts and Kraft ahead of him. We like Pitts because Pitts finished as 2 last year and is an elite talent, no doubt. And he's going to be on the field probably even more. And then we also think Kraft just, you know, blew everybody away last year when he played. So that's kind of why we have him at 6, and he's a Bear. So, you know.
The Bears suck.
I don't know what else to say about Pitts. I had to force him up here to 5, and I got you on board with that. He finished as tight end 2 last year. Sure, he had, you know, a few seasons where he underperformed to his potential. But last year, the man finally showed up and showed out. And, you know, again, it's a shaky quarterback room. Potentially, we don't know who it's going to be, but it doesn't matter. You know, you have Drake London, you have Kyle Pitts, and you have Bijan, and those are the guys that get the targets.
Yeah, Kyle Pitts finally broke out. He finally showed up the haters. His rookie campaign, he finished as tight end 6. Last year, he finished as tight end 2. He finally did it, right? 88 catches, 928 yards, 5 touchdowns. Very respectable. What I like most about Kyle Pitts is he's the number 2 wide receiver on this team after Drake London. There's no other real wide receiver 2 there, and that is Kyle Pitts, and he plays as such. And he could easily blow this number 5 projection out of the water again. But in terms of he finished 15 last year or 2 years ago, 13 3 years ago, and 33 4 years ago. So I'd like to see a little more consistent. We'll see if he can run it back.
Yeah, I have a little more faith in him this year. And why don't you take us away at number 4, because you are just pounding the table on Mr. Kraft.
I had to bully my brother to get Tucker Kraft at number 4 because I think he's finishing as a top 3 tight end last year. What was it? Through 8 weeks, he was tight end 2 last year. Is that correct?
I think so.
That is exactly why we have him in the top 5. This is an under radar weapon. You need to watch some Tucker Kraft film because he might be the most athletic best option in the Packers wide receiver tight end room. The dude can run people over, great hands. He's coming off an injury. Everything looks good there. Get yourself some Tucker Kraft because you can get him at a cheaper price than number 4.
Yeah, he'll be, you know, this is a very high ranking for him compared to everybody else. So it'll be a better price anywhere else.
We'll see.
And if you're not a Packers fan, I really encourage you to just go watch some of his highlights from last year. It's like he looked like a running back on some of those plays with stiff arms and spin moves and breaking tackles. It's like there's short yardage throws, and this guy was just housing them. It's like, who is this guy? So
he's tough to bring down. And to prove that point, I think this might be the highest. 15 yards per catch from Tucker Kraft. That is a tight end putting up Jameson Williams yards per catch numbers. That is phenomenal.
Yeah. So we're very high on him. Hoping, you know, my concern was the injury. It looks like he's going to play week 1 as far as we can tell right now in August. And you got to hope he's done enough to come back and be in the same shape or so that he was.
Yep, absolutely. Another surprising standout and Tyler Warren at number 3. Danny Dimes feeds this man the ball. I watched a lot of Tyler Warren last year, and I was nothing but impressed. 112 targets, 76 catches, 800 yards, 4 touchdowns, 10 yards per catch. This guy is just good, and he has some nice hair as well.
Yeah, Danny Dimes shows up again and shows out. I think Tyler Warren's going to be this range right here. You have the absence of Michael Pittman on this team. So, we want to give a boost to those receivers, which we probably will. But I think they're also battling a little bit of banged upness right now, and Downs and Pierce there. So I think this guy could be one of the best beneficiaries of the move this season. And at number 3 is where he needs to be, because the other 2 guys are just so elite that's how this is going to shake out.
Brock Bowers did owners a little dirty last year. He left a bad taste in my mouth because I had him. But let's remind everyone of 2 years ago where he finished as tight end 1 with 153 targets, 112 catches, and 1,100 receiving yards. This dude is a freak. If he is healthy, he will for sure finish as a top 3 tight end. And I love this line from one of his coaches. And I quote, he's had his way with every defender he's gone up against. And if that doesn't define Brock Bowers, I don't know what does.
Yeah, I mean, last year, the entire Raiders offense was very bad. Head coach, quarterback, offensive line, everything was very bad except for Genty, that glimmer of hope there for them last year. You get a better head coach now, and they don't have a lot of wide receivers. It may be one of the worst receiving rooms, I believe, in the NFL, if not the worst. And this guy is 1 season removed from 153 targets, 112 grabs, almost 1,200 yards, and 5 touchdowns on a bad team. So if this offense line gets better, you get a better quarterback play, the sky is the limit here for this guy.
Speaking of sky being the limit, Trey McBride, the best tight end in all of football, and it is not even close. Last year, in a half-point PPR setting, he had 90 points more than the next closest tight end. An absolute freak show. Absolute freak show. And this guy gets fed. He is the most targets out of any tight end, and we know that QB is going to throw him the ball quite a bit.
Yeah, this is another one of the guys that, before he became rich and famous at tight end 1 for fantasy, I was drafting in the later rounds, and it was so good. It's so glorious. Those are no longer the days, unfortunately. The dude had 315 fantasy points last year for PPR. Look at the next closest. It's over 100 points off the next guy. It's just insane. The concerns, obviously, quarterback play, bad team, and a very hard schedule. It feels like Arizona's borderline a professional team some of these days. And as long as Jacoby Brissett is there, he's going to try and sling it. And I still think McBride is going to be great for fantasy and PPR formats for sure. I think they're going to have a lot less scoring opportunities than a lot of other teams. So a bit of a concern there for me. But as long as Brissett and this guy, it's hard to be a hater on him.
Yeah, and just remind everyone, 3 years ago, he finished tight end 7. 2 years ago, he finished as tight end 2 with only 2 touchdowns. And last year, he finished as tight end 1 with 11 touchdowns. So just an absolute freak show.
Yeah. Let's see. Do I have his numbers here? Last year, 169 targets, 126 grabs, over 1,200 yards, and 11 touchdowns. So last year, he had the touchdowns. I could see a little bit of touchdown regression for him this year, but, it's still tight end. It's got to still be around tight end 1 for me.
Is there ever a tight end that's going to go in front of him in any draft? I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I can make a case for Bowers, absolutely. But the thing is
I know you didn't own him last year.
In most formats, I'm probably not going to be taking the first tight end, right?
Steep.
I'm much higher on. I'd rather have a better running back or better receiver, because I think there's a chance that Pitts, Loveland, and Kraft could show up much closer to being a 1 or 2 this year. They have a little more room to go up, I think.
Yeah, and to that point, tight ends are much deeper this year than the years past. There's 7 to 8 guys where you're like, oh, these guys could finish really well and put up a lot of points. And that kind of gives you the cushion in drafts to be like, don't reach for them. Take a different skill position and then get someone between 5 to 8, take a chance on them.
And that's exactly what I find myself doing in all of the drafts we've done so far, is really just kind of waiting at least a little bit, if not a lot of it, on tight ends this year and grabbing other players.
Absolutely. Alrighty, folks, that is the tightest events, top 15 right there. If you like our rankings, let us know. If you don't, please let us know. We love the hate, especially Kyle. He loves all that hate over there.
All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in the Fantasy Football channel. Catch you in the next one.